Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.
Viewers and subscribers, welcome again to the Coach's Desk with your host, Coach Minzy. And today we have with us in studio, Coach Okeel Stewart. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I mean, a little rainy, but guess what? We have to give thanks for any blessing we get, whether it be rainy or whether it be sunny.
Yes, man, we have to give thanks, definitely. So,
All right.
Coach, being that we know that you're a very busy man and it's a Sunday afternoon, so we want to get this going real quick so you have to go and spend time with your family. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I appreciate that.
So, I want you to tell the viewers and subscribers now, who is Okeel Stewart?
Well, I have never been asked a question like that really in a very long time. But Okeile Stewart currently a husband, a father of two, happily married, and someone who enjoys the things that he does, track and field. And I am also involved in entrepreneurship, teaching entrepreneurship at the what I would call it now, the micro level, and offer consultancy service to persons going into business. So I am across different sectors, the corporate sector as well as the sporting sector.
All right, Coach. So those who don't know and want a little consultancy when it comes on to the business world, please see
Definitely.
Coach Stewart. So that's a little
Definitely.
advertisement there for your coach.
Good,
All
man.
right.
I appreciate it.
Now, what brought you into coaching?
Well, I was at the University of Technology and I was being coached then by Stephen Francis. And while I was there, I observe and I respect the way he go about his business, and having known that he's what I would say, accountant in his own right. He has a degree, he has a master's in accounting, and I look at that and I'm like, I could be like this man. A lot of persons. I mean, you have to have something that you look to, and from that you see somebody you want to be like, or you aspire to be like, so to speak, and you learn from. So I have learned my early coaching knowledge from being at MVP while I was a student at UTech, while I was a massage therapist with them. And from there on, I grew to love what I was doing. And from ever since, I was always in sports anyways. I was a footballer at Glenmuir High School. I played the Costa Cup for about 4 years with them, and then I went on. I played National A-League with Galaxy Football Club, and went to UTech, and then I was doing both track and field and football.
Right.
But then later on, doing a degree program, it's not so easy. So pretty much that's how it all began. Having seen Stephen Francis and see how he goes about his business, and like what I saw and decide to do my own thing.
Well said, Coach. And I would assume that you would have been a qualified coach. So what sort of coaching qualification do you possess?
I'm at the second level now, level 2.
Okay, good.
IAF, yes.
So with your the second level and the wealth of experience that you'd have had from Stephen Francis and your own coaching right now, then that simply means the sky is the limit for your coach.
Very much. I mean, I always aspire to be better than I am on a daily basis. I would have been exposed to a lot more methodologies and philosophy from a Glenn Mills, a Fitz Coleman, who now is one of my major mentor person. So the person who I run to most of the time, to ask questions as to what I can do in a particular situation. Right. There is a Lennox Graham who I also sometimes will call up, and we will share knowledge. Right. A lot of persons. There's a Walcott, a young Walcott, who and I we share a lot of. Sometimes we talk a lot on the phone. Share knowledge, ask each other questions about things. There's a Gregory Little. So the thing about it is we learn from everybody else. There's a Timmy Richards who coaches at very technical high school. So I draw inspiration and knowledge from everywhere, you know. And how could I forget? There is a Millard Dunbar who is he keeps me on the tip of my toes. He asks me, you know, challenging question for me to ensure that I'm always on the ball.
So the beauty about what you're saying is that networking is very important, and
I believe so.
Consultation is also important, because one thing I know is that as a coach, you don't know everything. So
definitely. And let me add to that. I mean, I believe it helps because I wouldn't have had the wealth of experience like a Glenn Mills, a Stephen Francis, a Fitz Coleman, a Maurice Wilson,
right?
You know, a Jerry Onlis, those guys, you know, because they have years under their belt, and as such, for me to, you know, bring down that learning curve a bit, I think networking is pretty much the way to go.
Definitely. So, coach, if it wasn't track and field, which other sport would you be coaching?
As I was in football. I coached at UTech for about 4 years. Was the assistant to Mr. Donovan Murray at the time.
Okay.
And but my love for track and field is a lot more than for football. So as I said, that's where the decision was, and I had actually started to get some early success in track and field, and so I moved forward with that one.
All right. Now fast forward to your CEO years. You have developed the Swept Track Club. You want to talk to us about that?
Well, Swept was born out of the need to want to do some real practicing, and I started out with Oral Thompson. He became the national champion in 2010. We started out in 2007 while I was still a massage therapist at MVP.
Right.
And you know, Oral was a very good friend of mine. You know, at the same time, he wanted a coach, and I, offered my assistant, and we grew together. And then athletes started to see what had happened with Oral, and then they also had an interest. And we attracted athletes such as a Sheldon Mitchell, who went on to do well for himself. Winning the Pan I think it was the Pan American Festival in 2014. They're about in the 200 meters. We would have attracted current person who is still with me now, Emmanuel Kalinda of Trinidad and Tobago, who has done well for himself and his country. And as you know, I mean, athletes come along the way, and we have been growing from ever since.
Definitely. And I could remember one year your track club Swept would have dismissed the MVP over there in Cachinal, and
a lot of people remember that race quite well. It was a turning point for us. The team of Ainsley Waugh, Dexter Lee, Kenny Lee, and Sheldon Mitchell. We ran a 38.84 time at Mile Western Relays in Montego Bay, a track that is very hard to run on. And at that time, it was a world leading time as well. I mean, it was a turning point for me. I realized that, things was really happening in my group, and it just helped me to grow from there.
Right, and you were now recognized as one of the top coaches on the island. But somewhere along the line, coach, we did not hear about Swept, and we understand that you left the island for a little stint in Asia. Tell us
That's
about
right. Well, it's not easy to operate a track club, really. I mean, they're athletes, and the thing about it, I'm attracting athletes who are not wealthy, so I would have to be taking on some of their expenses, accommodation, meals, medical expenses, and so forth. And as such, it ran me in a little bit of debt for a while. And an opportunity presented itself for me to go and work in South Korea, and I took that opportunity. And having taken that opportunity, it has also pushed me to understand that there are some things that I have to put in place in order to go to the next level.
Right.
If I was sponsored, then maybe I wouldn't have taken that opportunity to South Korea. But I believe it was a career path or a path that I needed to travel, because I would have learned a lot while being there in South Korea. You know.
Definitely. Now, after you came back from that stint over there in South Korea, you went to the University of the West Indies and you started to do some coaching up there. And
Yes.
you would have conditioned Rochelle Clayton to a bronze medal at the 2019 World Championships.
Yes.
Explain that feeling and how working with her during that period.
Let me first, say, I mean, there was always, it's always a good feeling to get an athlete to compete at the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
Since working with, say for instance, Emmanuel Kalinda, he has always been competing at the World Championship, at the Olympics, but it's a better feeling when you have somebody from Jamaica competing at that level. And then, Jodine Williams would have gone to the World Championships in 2017 while she worked with me then. And, that was a very good feeling, because, I mean, it was of my first time getting a Jamaican on the national senior team.
Mm-hmm.
So that feeling was very good. I mean, for Rochelle Clayton, for her making the team, it was somewhat a very happy moment. On that day, it was a bittersweet for me, because I also have another athlete in that finals that I believe would have also be on that team. But, some days it rains, some days it's sunny. So it was one of those days for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Rochelle Clayton having, won and gone on to, he got a bronze at the World Championships. I mean, it pretty much opens the door, and it pretty much gives me a little bit more reassurance to say, guess what? Whatever you're doing, Coach Stewart, it's working. So try to continue, try to build on that, and hope for better results to come in the future.
Right. And because of that, you would have attracted the likes of
Agile Hyde.
Jail Hyde, right?
Definitely,
And so
definitely.
you'd have attracted more. So
That's right.
definitely that performance from your charge, Clayton, would have opened doors of opportunity for you, where athletes
Definitely.
are seeing the work that you're putting in, and they recognize that this coach is no joke.
That's right.
He can prepare athletes to the highest level. So
Good.
definitely we congratulate you on that, dear coach, because that was a very good year for Rochelle Clayton. We trust and hope that she will continue on that path, because
Thank you.
sometimes athletes tend to, when they go to a championship, you can either break them or make them. So definitely
Good.
you know about that. So you know the psychological part of it, that you're going to ensure that she remains focused.
That's right.
I mean, definitely. Now, we are in a pandemic, coach, right? And what keeps you motivated to go to training every day, if there's any training uh, in a time like this? What keeps you motivated?
The athletes themselves, and as I say, I can't really do it by myself. I mean, from the very beginning, I have an assistant coach in Adrian Peter, who he has always been there. And there are days when I am tired and I can't go, and then I would see a message from him that, hey, I'm up, I'm ready to go. And what can you say when you see something like that? And then you'll see an athlete message that, oh, they're on their way. I mean, there are days when I just want to sleep in my bed. But
Definitely.
when you see the effort that these athletes are putting in, it pretty much gives you that extra energy that is needed to make that next step. So I believe my motivation right now is just the effort that the athletes that are training with me on a daily basis, the ones that trust me enough to allow me to condition their career, to get them to get better in their craft, as well as the support team around me.
Definitely.
I mean, in any group you need a team. Whether it's your assistant coach, as I said, Mr. Peter, he has always been there. There are other coaches that are around me, that pretty much help to shoulder whatever burden that I'm facing.
Right.
There's a Dalton Myers, who was a friend, and also one of the managers who manages athletes within my group.
Right.
There's Maynard McIntosh, who has been there from the very beginning, helping with some of the financing, helping with some of the management, guiding my decisions, so, and it's just a
Teamwork.
Exactly. And how should I not say my wife, who sometimes
Have to
will,
put up with you being missing in action.
can I tell you? I mean, she has to put up with sometimes I think too much, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's worth it. And I want her to know that it's gonna worth it in the end.
definitely. I want to send a shout out also to my friend there, Adrian Pitter. Yeah, man.
Good.
You big up yourself. All right.
That's right.
So moving on, coach. What sort of plans do you have for your charges going into the Olympic trials and the Olympics next year?
Um, First and foremost, the aim is to try to get everybody to be as strong as they can in
Mhm.
their individual events.
Right.
And in doing so, we hope it's good enough to make the national team, because that's the first thing. That's the first assignment. Is pretty much to make the national team, and then from there you take on the Olympics, or other championships or other competitions that are there. So right now the focus is on doing the preparation, focusing on the weaknesses, trying to build on the strengths that they have,
Yes.
and try to get everybody to have a mental focus on themselves and to see how best they can capitalize on their ability.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. And the mental aspect of the sport, sometimes persons shove it aside and they don't know that it's one of the most critical areas of the
It
sport.
is.
It is one of the most critical, and with you saying that, then I'm sure that your charges would know that they are in good hands. All right.
Definitely.
So you're expecting them to qualify for the world champ? Just throwing that out to you right now.
I mean,
Work
definitely. I'm looking
Olympic part.
forward. I mean, the work has been put in. People are showing a lot more signs of being more serious, more business-like, and as such, I believe in the end they should reap some reward for that.
All right, definitely. So you're still coaching at the Swept Track Club, or that is no longer?
Well, what had happened over the years, sometimes you would see us compete on the Pelican,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some times when you see us compete on the Swept. Well, we were trying to boost the Pelican club in that we are trying to attract other athletes to attend the University of the West Indies, and in so doing, then it would become a feeder for the clubs that are there. And so we had decided, guess what? Let's just push Pelican as the brand, and from that, they'll see that other athletes at the national level is associated with the brand and want to be a part. Now, with COVID-19 come about, I mean, it has ramshackled all of those plans. And as such, we believe that going forward, we will maintain the Swept brand, and we will compete on the Swept, and we will seek to grow as Swept Track and Field Club.
Okay, well said. Because that leads me to the next question. Because the University of the West Indies did not renew your contract.
Yes.
How did that impact you and the student athletes?
Well, to be honest, I mean, nobody wants to lose an income, for sure. And but I would have understand, having been deeply involved in business, understand that with every organization, if money is not coming in, then it's going to be hard for them to pay out. So they had to make a choice as to who, you know, I mean, what they do with their resources, and as such, the sports program in itself was put aside. It was a similar thing in some universities that I was told. So we understood that. Um, the other thing about it is the student athletes, they would have been impacted severely, because currently as we speak, only a few of them are in training. Others may be training, but maybe training on their own. And as such, I think it will affect the program going forward, because then you always want to have continuity, and with them not in competitive training right now, then it's going to affect their ability to be at the level that they would have been
Right.
in
And the
a year or so time.
improvement, this would have sort of slowed down the improvement process.
Exactly, definitely.
All right, Coach. We really appreciate you taking the time out, being here just to share a little of your story and to inform the viewers and subscribers out there that you're pushing the Sweat brand right now.
Definitely.
right? We're pretty much out of time right now, Coach. So,
But let me add one more thing before we go. Just before you go, there is a platform that I'm now showcasing online at aisle876.com.
right,
I mean, I'm encouraging that the persons in the diaspora to check it out. I
right.
mean, the income that we get from that platform, we use it to pump back into developing the next best talent in Jamaica. Yes. So please do go out and share and go out and support.
All right, well said.
That's aisle876.com.
All right. So, viewers and subscribers, diaspora members, aisle876.com. Please go and check it out and support the next big athlete or the next great athlete coming out of Jamaica. Any other final words that you'd like to share with us, Coach?
Well, just pretty much to say, I mean, it's a COVID time, so please be careful. You understand? Enjoy, train as hard. I mean, it's gonna be one of those here that is uncertain whether or not there, especially there's a champ system going on. But I mean, I mean, I'm also the head coach of Camperdown High School, and we're not in training. We have just been sending programs to athletes. So I'm thinking that, and I'm hoping that persons are doing their best, staying safe, and training as best and as safely as possible.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Thank you again, Coach Stewart, for stopping by here on the coach's desk. It was definitely a privilege for us to have you, and it was a good, informative conversation. And we thank you very much. We wish you all the best going forward with you and your charges for the 2021 Olympic trials and the Olympic Games. We hope that more of your charges will make the team and more of your charges will get medals at that event.
Thank you very much and have a good one. Yes. Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, man.